Hi, I just wanted you all to see what I'm doing. Don't know very good for me right now because it's so late, but this is the only time I have to eat dinner. Welcome, my bud. I'm trying to just wait a minute for Facebook to generate audiences. So the system keeps telling you, wait a minute, we are trying to get people to come on board. So I'm waiting. Come and join me. This is my full keto diet. It's not a diet, it's actually a lifestyle. You know, this is a situation where you eat less carbohydrate. And tonight, as you can see, I'm having a pasta sauce called tagliatelle. It's just about 20 grams of it, and a lot of greens and meat, minced meat to be precise. I know, I love broccoli too. I wish I can share, but you know, I can't pass it through the internet. Jack hasn't found a way around that yet. Thank you for joining in. Hi babes. Oh, I miss you so badly, but I'll be seeing you very soon. I'll tell you when I'll be in Nigeria. I don't want to say it online so everybody wouldn't know when I'll be in Lagos. Very soon, girl, very soon. Stay on, girl. Just 2 more minutes and then we can start on tonight's show. I know, there's a lot of meat, right? According to the lifestyle, you can eat as much meat, fish, butter, greens as you want, in as much as you just reduce your calorie input. So like bread, rice, pasta, eba, amala, puri, fufu. Those are the kind of things that you need to reduce. So you can see how big my plate is, but I just have about 20 grams of tagliatelle. That's a kind of Italian pasta sauce. I know it tastes nice. I didn't have appetite to eat when the kids were eating, so, and that's what happens to me after a very busy day. I will rush home, make dinner, and wouldn't have any feelings to eat the food myself. So Most of the time I'm eating late. And you know what that means? Big stomach. Action, reaction kind of thing. It's part of what we're going to be talking about tonight. Like I'm eating now and talking. I remember when I was growing up, you get smacked for talking while eating because things could go wrong. Like getting food into your lungs. But anyway, what we have noticed is, supposing something like that happened now to me, because I'm talking while eating, I know a lot of people, if I should start coughing now, God forbid, maybe start choking on my food, because I'm really doing something I shouldn't be doing now, they will blame it on the enemies. They say it's their father's, mother's, grand sister's enemy, witch, wizard that is causing them to cough. But me, SOBJ, I'm blaming it on myself because I'm eating and talking at the same time. While I know I shouldn't be doing that. So, action, reaction kind of thing. If anything goes wrong now, I'm not going to be blaming it on anybody. Not on any enemy, not my father's enemies, not my enemies, or my mother's, or my sisters, or my family, generational curse, or whatever. I'm going just to accept that it is my own fault that I'm choking on my food. And the reason will be because I'm eating and talking. So, action, reaction. So, if you decide to eat and talk at the same time like I'm doing now, then don't blame it on anybody when you start choking. I hope you get what I'm trying to say and what I'm trying to explain with the topic of today. But wait a minute. Let me put the food away so that we can really go into this show properly. It's really nice, but it will have to wait. Hi everybody, it's SOBJ. Give me just 30 seconds. Let me stop the music. Yeah? Okay, there I am. So good evening everybody and welcome proper to tonight's show. The topic, as I say, is quite self-explanatory, I think. It's my enemy's fault syndrome. I'm coughing, it's my enemy's fault. I'm falling, it's my enemy's fault. I'm failing at anything, it's my enemy's fault. Maybe I didn't read enough for my exams, I say it's my enemy's fault. Maybe I go for a job interview and I wasn't chosen. People will say it's their enemy's fault. So I want to talk tonight about the syndrome, because if you ask me, I believe a lot of families, especially African families, are suffering from this syndrome. A lot of times people are not facing the fact about why they have misfortunes. In our society, we have stopped preaching action reaction kind of, concept. Now people are more into giving other people the fault for things they've been doing wrongly or when bad things happen to them. And I am a believer of karma. I believe very, very strongly in action reaction. And that brings us to the topic of today. And honestly, sometimes this week I was talking to somebody and the person was really, lamenting about things that had gone wrong in the past couple of months. They were talking about how much they have tried, put so much energy, emotions into what they've been doing, and just later to find out that it wasn't going to be, And while we talk, I was actually, trying to analyze the situation, trying to see shortcomings on the side of the person talking to me, because in anything we do, whether we get a positive or a negative result, we have ourselves to question on the part we have played. And a lot of Africans do not self-reflect. We do not self-reflect. We were not brought up to ask ourselves questions about what have I done to make the situation the way it is. A lot of us were brought up to be in defense. It's always as if somebody's attacking us. That's why you see when there is a conversation going on, a lot of times you see people talking as if they are defending themselves. In this society, I've had people ask me, why do Africans shout at each other when they talk? Why are they always trying to defend themselves? Why is there always a kind of argument when you're trying to have a conversation with people? And honestly, I have looked inwards at myself, and I remember when I first came to Europe, I had a culture shock because we grew up thinking everybody is against us. We grew up thinking somebody wants to get us. It's always about somebody wanting to, do you bad. It's always about other people not wishing you well. However, I must say, it's not in every home that you grow up with that concept. I have seen people of African descent with a different background, a different mentality, but it is very common. It is very common. A lot of us believe in diabolical influences on our misfortunes. And what do I mean by that? A lot of people believe their uncles, their aunties are witches, are wizards, and somebody in their family is out to get them. A lot of people, they grow up to believe there's some particular person in your family that is doing you wrong, diabolically, that is taking your matter to a witch doctor or an herbalist or a wizard to make sure misfortunes come your way. And this is very common, very, very common. It even goes beyond Africa. It follows people around. Everywhere they go to, people have this idea about their misfortunes being caused by somebody else. Even something as little as, falling on the street or, choking on a piece of cookie, or, simple accidents that can happen anywhere. People have this belief that it was caused by somebody else. It is mostly somebody in the family that does not wish you well, or your parents' family, somebody that is jealous about what you have become, or somebody that has seen your future that is, wishing you bad and causing you misfortunes. Whereas, actually, in most cases, we have ourselves to blame. It's just like me. I mean, a couple of minutes ago, I just tried to, you know, show something that could go wrong by eating and talking at the same time. Something as simple as that. If I start choking, I know a lot of people, if that should be them, while talking, and eating at the same time, they would not understand that you could choke. And it wouldn't be the fault of anybody. It's going to be my fault because I chose to eat and talk at the same time. Something as simple as that would make some people to start cursing their family members somewhere. It would make some people to start giving the blame on somebody else, the enemy, you know. So this concept, this mentality, I believe is a very, very big, I won't say the sole reason, but plays a role in the setbacks that a lot of African families do go through. Because what I think it does to you is it gives you a reason to escape from your failures. It makes people, you know, go into denial. When you're failing at something, it doesn't really have to be somebody else's fault. When somebody tries and fails, it's because you haven't done it well or the way it should be done. And judging from the way we are growing up now, let me take Nigeria for example, where nothing is done the way it's supposed to be done. A lot of times, if you try to do things the way it's supposed to be done, you will have much more problems than trying to do it, you know, much more problem than if you're not doing it the way it should be done. Let me take for an example. If you're trying to get something organized in an office, if you say, okay, I'm going to carry all my files, I'm going to give them all the papers I need, you would be busy longer than the time necessary if you're giving somebody maybe, you know, a bribe of some amount to get it done. That is you doing things the wrong way. But that's the way it works in that society now. So let's bring that back to our daily lives, because if you're doing things wrongly, you shouldn't expect the right result. But instead of us to self-reflect on what we are doing wrongly, a lot of times you look for somebody else to give the blame to. And because we are brought up to think there is an enemy out there that is out there to get us, it's easy for people to just go in denial of what they have done wrong and blame somebody else for what is going wrong. That is a form of compensation, which, if you ask me, is a reason why a lot of homes are, you know, in jeopardy and stagnant. Because instead of you to face a problem squarely and look for solution, you're giving the blame to somebody else. And when you give somebody else the control over your life, then you will not be able to retrieve your steps and, you know, correct the mistakes you have made. Because you do not even accept those mistakes are yours. You're thinking of an enemy out there that is causing you to do wrong. And most of the times, that makes it difficult for you to do right by yourself, and people stay stagnant. And instead of them to see a solution to their problems, they go around praying, fasting, that the enemy be gone. Instead of to face the problem they're having and solving it, looking for a solution, they spend more time praying and fasting and believing, or probably, you know, going into diabolical things to fight. Which, if you ask me, in the first place, does not exist. Oh, please, do not get me wrong. I'm going to be a very silly person. In fact, I can almost call myself a fool if I say there are no enemies right out there. I know there are lots of people that would just, for no reason, and some with reasons, wish you bad. There are people that are so messed up that they wish other people bad. But obviously, when you wish somebody else bad, you cannot expect any good thing to happen to you, because good things happen to good people and bad things will happen to bad people. So if you're out there wishing other people bad, then you can be best guaranteed that you will only get bad things come your way. So most of the time, we are our own enemies. Most of the times, people are the ones that bring about their own misfortunes. The only thing is, a lot of people are in denial. A lot of people are in denial. They deny the fact that they have gone wrong. They deny the fact that they have not done things the way they are supposed to do it. Let's take, for example, you have people that are begging and praying for a good job, but they will not go and do solicitations for a job. Or they will wait for somebody for favor to fall on them because their pastor has said this is the month of favor. Or the imam has said, this month's favor will find you. But what they forget is that they need to go out to go and look for the job before they can get it. Some people will say, I want to become a millionaire. But they don't have a job to become a millionaire, and they don't play the lottery either. They are waiting and believing. And if at the end of the year they do not become a millionaire, then they start pointing their fingers to an old woman in their village. They start pointing fingers at a family member who probably coincidentally said something wrong at a particular time as the cause of their misfortunes, bringing stagnation into their lives. And this is very, very common within the African family, because we are people of the ancient. And obviously, we have our gods, and we have our shrines, we have our traditional beliefs, and we have a lot of things that are spiritual in Africa. A lot of things are happening in the spiritual realm. That's true. But even in the spiritual realm, the same law of what you do is what you get still applies. And the same law of good and bad still applies. But the same law of putting an action to get a reaction still applies too. So most of the time, the only thing we need to solve our problems is not to go and start cursing or going after a family member that is probably just old and ugly and calling them witches and wizards. Because we are having bad lucks or things are not going well or misfortunes, what we mostly need to do is take 2 steps back and look at our steps. What have I done wrong? Where did I go wrong? Which decisions can I change or should I have not taken? Be it education, be it relationship-wise, be it finances. Let me give an example. I know somebody. She is always complaining of being broke. She is always complaining of not knowing where her money is going to. But this is somebody that does not have a monthly budget. She does not plan. She spends money as it comes. She goes out, buy this, buy that. She buys things that she doesn't need. Her house is full of things that she doesn't need. and she's just buying and buying and buying. But the last time we were together and they were asking people to talk about the problems they are having, she stood up and said she's having family problems. She's having a course, not to know where her money is going to. So she doesn't know where her money is going to. All she sees is she has a lot of money at the beginning of the month, and before the middle of the month, her money is finished. So that was her prayer point. For the enemy in her family that has caused her and caused her whole family should die or deceased. But I know her personally, and I know her very well, and I know the way she spends. And I know she has no budget. She's one of those people that knows she has to pay bills, but would rather go out there, buy a new pair of shoes or buy new clothing. She buys an attire for every party. I wasn't able to call her and tell her, you know what, you don't have a family problem. Your problem is you. But right in my head, I was thinking to myself, girl, give me a pen and a paper, and I'll write down what is going wrong in your life without having to point any finger at anybody. A lot of times, the problems we face are has to do with anybody around me. It has to do with, you know, the spiritual, where I'm supposed to be thinking things are going wrong for me because there's somebody in the village somewhere that doesn't wish me well. I cannot remember the last time that has happened to me. And then coming back to how this vicious circle is being held in place, nowadays, when we talk to our children, we talk to them about don't do this, don't go to that person's house, don't take this from that person, because they are witches, because they are wizards, or because they may poison you. Even children that are being born are now being trained to understand that there is an enemy out there. So you can imagine an infant that is growing up in that environment would only react out of what she or he has been given from home. When a child is put in an environment when they have nothing to worry about, nothing at all, you see the innocence, you see them blossom, you see that they do not believe in somebody trying to hurt them, because there's nobody putting into their heads that the neighbor is an enemy. In Europe here, people will give you food that you don't even know where they have cooked it and how they have cooked it, and you will eat it. You will eat it and nothing will happen to you, because you have the feeling that you're because you don't think your neighbor wants to poison you. But it doesn't mean your neighbor is a good person, but it's because there is nothing that is being fed to you that will make you think that your neighbor wants to kill you. But I know people that even when, as old as I am, when they are going to Nigeria right now, they already have rules and regulations. I'm not going to eat at this person's house. I'm not going to eat any food that I don't know how they prepare. I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to accept anything from anybody. It's because of the way we were brought up. Oh, really? Is the network bad? Can you hear me though? Oh, please let me know if you can hear me or not. So maybe I need to put up another router to increase the... Yeah, okay. So the idea that people want to hurt us, or they want to kill us, or they want to, disgrace us, they don't want us to succeed is something that a lot of people get from when they were children. It's something that was instilled in a lot of us growing up in African families. And that goes with you. And a lot of times it doesn't give you the opportunity to self-reflect. And this is why a lot of people are stagnant in their development, stagnant in their relationship, because they do not trust anybody. If somebody just makes a comment just because of nothing, just innocently, there are people that will already think this person wants to get me. When people go out their door and they fall, maybe because they were not watching where they are going, they will cause an auntie or they will cause an uncle in the village. They're in Europe. They are falling because maybe the street is not been well laid, or maybe there's a hole on the floor and they were not watching where they are going. But they will cause somebody else and give the blame to somebody else. How about somebody who went drunk driving? Somebody who went drunk driving and ended up having an accident. But instead of this person to see that he had done something wrong, because you're not supposed to drink and drive, they will give the blame to an uncle or an auntie somewhere as being the cause of the accident. But the question is, what did you do wrong? Please let me know if the network is still very bad so that I can. Okay. All right. So look at what you have done wrong. You're the one that went to drink and drive and kill somebody. So when they throw you in jail, you say it is your brother or your uncle's auntie's wife or your father's grandmother that is causing you problems and making you do wrong things. Some people will go and commit a crime, and when they get caught, they will be sending money home for people to pray for them so that they would go scot-free, because their uncle has caused them that they will not do well. But you committed a crime. You committed a crime and you got caught and your hands got thrown in the jail. Self-reflection is something that we don't get taught in a standard African home. Rather, you are being taught to put the blame on somebody else. We grow up thinking there is an enemy around the corner. We grow up thinking every ugly person in our villages are witches. We grow up thinking the people that do not have clothes on their backs or people that are hungry and are haggard are witches and wizards. And then you have to be aware of them. I have seen a story that an old woman in the village was stoned to death because young girls were dying in the village. But what people did not know is these young girls were dying because they were committing abortion, and they were doing the abortion by a quack doctor. A quack doctor was performing abortion on the young girls, and they were dying. 3 died, and the 3 were friends. So they went to the same doctor at different times. But an oracle somewhere told the mothers that there is an old lady in the village that is killing everybody. So how do you want to explain that? How do you want to explain that when you're the one doing something wrong? And in Africa, nobody will tell you, what did you do that gave you the results you have? Few. Okay, maybe saying nobody is wrong, because I remember growing up, a lot of times when I do something wrong, and there was a time I blew my fingers off with bad knockout. My father smacked me the more and told me, I told you not to go play with the knockout. So, you know, like that, we get to know that action, reaction. But when it comes to misfortunes that is befalling people as a result of what they have done wrong, a lot of times you don't grow up to think about what you have done to get the results you have. You think somebody else is after you. You think there's a family member that doesn't wish your family well, or doesn't wish your mom and dad well, and that has caused you, and that's why you're having problems. The result of that is the problem will remain. Eventually, when somebody came and told the village that I was talking about that those 3 girls died because they committed abortion at a quack doctor's place, they have already killed the old woman. An innocent old woman that had nothing to do with it was stoned to death in an African village. And this is very common. We go out with the knowledge without proof that somebody is after us, that somebody is doing something wrong to make sure we do not succeed. In Europe, we know that when they ask you to bring 10 papers, 10 documents to get something, if you do not bring the 10 documents, you will not get what you are going to look for. And yet, you see people, they will be fasting and praying that when they go to the place that they have told them, you need 10 documents to be able to get what you're looking for. They will be fasting and praying that, please God, let me get to that place and they give me what I'm looking for, though I don't have the 10 documents. And if they go there and they refuse them, they will curse their grandmother in the village as being the one that has caused them. But wait, they asked you to bring 10 documents and you brought 8, so they refused you. What does the grandmother have to do? What does she have to do with it? It's all about the enemy out there. Come off it, guys. Look at what you have done to put yourself in the situation you are in. Retrace your steps and redo those things so that you can get the results you want to get. Stop blaming it on somebody in the village. Stop blaming it on somebody that has nothing to do with it, because you have had the story that your mother has an enemy, or one auntie did not like your mom or dad when they were growing up. So any misfortune that's happened now has to do with what those people have done. Every ugly, haggard, poor person in your village is a witch. And the person is, they are wishing you bad. Come off it. Come on. It is action, reaction. You do what is right, you get the right result. You do wrong, you get wrong results. And until we start identifying those things that we do wrong as people and redoing them, things will continue to go wrong. It is like a country like Nigeria where our Senate is corrupt. Half of the Senate is criminal. And we expect things to go right. We expect the system to be better. We have people stealing money every day. The money that's supposed to be for the general public, people are hoarding it. And then we are crying that there is hardship. Action, reaction. There is no enemy out there. Before an enemy can get you, you must have gotten yourself first. Do not get me wrong. I know there are people with bad belly, bad mind, that do not wish you well. People that do not wish anybody to succeed in places that they have not succeeded. I know. I am not denying